This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Make it clear that the views expressed by our host are not considered the official stance of MBR views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines with hosts MJ and Terry. Each week we put today's news into perspective. Tune in Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcasts. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Welcome. Hi, Terry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you. Today, we're like halfway through, more than halfway through May.
We are. It's going fast.
It's a little scary, Terry.
It is. I was surprised. This weekend is the 3-day weekend. This weekend, Monday is Memorial Day. So we are like almost at the end for sure of the month.
Yeah. That's a little confusing too, because I always want to think that Memorial Day is at the very end of the month. So I always get a little bit backwards there. So, and we had Armed Forces Day on Saturday. So congratulations to all of the branches out there.
That's right.
And that was nice at Red's Roundtable. That was exactly a year ago. That's so funny how that happened.
It was, yeah. That was a lot of fun too, to all kind of be together and talking about the platform and just talking about, how it's impacted us personally.
Yeah. And it everybody has their story. I love that. It's, DNA, baby. Everybody has their own journey, their own lifestyle, and what they see, what they talk, what they do, what they listen to. So that's why we have Beyond the Headlines, because sometimes we always fall in the same pattern. We always look at the same things. And then somebody goes, "Did you hear?" And you're like, "No,
Right.
I didn't. Wait, where was I?" And so there has been a lot going on. These headlines are just, they make me believe that the man upstairs said enough is enough, right?
Right.
I mean, let me tell you, the monarchs always had the problem, but the British monarchs are, wow. I made a correlation because there's been an upset now with a lot of high council people, judges, right? Lawyers, politicians, that are their worlds are getting rocked. Then you look at the liberal world, and they're getting rocked with Diddy and Weinstein. That's getting rocked. Mm-hmm. And then you look over into Australia, that's getting rocked. And then you go to England, and they're getting rocked. I'm like, whoa, what is happening? And then you get the report: the continental shelf in Africa has divided.
Oh wow.
I know. So, holy gypsum, maybe, just maybe, I think it's time for the beautiful world to say, and look, God is allowing karma to divinely play out, right? Because the things that are coming to awareness, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not sad about it. I feel okay about it because I always want to take the person who wants to nag and try to get a whole bunch of people to get on their side, and it's very divisional, right?
Right.
Especially when there's so many narcissists around. And so I feel that when I see that, here you go, the monarch is now elevating to new standards. They're removing old patterns and they're letting go of things that are blocking that movement going forward. I look at Doge the same way. I look at what is happening in Australia the same way. I find it not comical, ha ha, like, oh my gosh, there is a higher purpose. There is a higher person calling the shots here. And it isn't Soros, and nor is it Musk, right?
Yeah.
That everybody wants to point fingers. And I just find that to be an amazing thing with the transparency. But having secrets for 50 years or more, that is really devastating to those who really cared about those secrets. And those people now are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s when all of that happened.
Right.
So I really feel bad for them. I feel bad that whatever lies that they were given and they truly believed in that person, or they truly believed in that situation at hand. Now, it's not going to just affect them because let's just face it, man follows liberals, Hollywood. They follow stars. They follow those people. That's why politicians and higher ups utilize them as like their, what's the word, Terry?
I don't know, kind of their figurehead or something that kind of distracts people from what the true intent is. Somebody that other people will follow just because they're popular. And if they say something, people will believe it, maybe.
Something.
Yeah.
But it's that energy. It's that energy where my heart now goes to all those blind people. And I can't help but think, do you see how divisive that is? Do you see how divisive all these secrets and families become in uproars, people's lives become, and now the only people getting rich are your lawyers and judges, period. Because now there are so many scandals. It's sad. It is so sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Where we have come. And I honor this administration about its transparency. I honor the monarchs, Kate and William, who are stepping up into the to the position. In case you didn't know, they dethroned or unruled or stripped her titles of Camilla. I don't know if anybody knows this, and King Charles is in his last with pancreatic cancer.
Really?
So he is on his way. They confirmed that his cancer last year was pancreatic, and he spends more time now in hospitals. And so
Oh, wow.
that is from BBC, from British Talk, from Royal Talk, from, like, I looked at all of them. It is so intriguing. You do not need TV right now if you want to follow the monarch. Oh my gosh. Talk about a huge novel. They used to have a show called The Crown on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's still there because I got to the point where I didn't have any more episodes. I was binge watching it. And I never went back to see if they continued. So I don't know if it's still there. However, it pretty well is, that show is playing snippets But what was really released, and it's so sad, which is why Camilla, her parents actually, this should, I don't know, we should get Amber on here because this is all Amber stuff. Like, this is an Amber thing because I usually don't do the gossiping type like this. However, the flip pattern is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So now they took her to court, stripped her of all her monies, all her titles, everything, because they're finding out that it was Camilla and her parents who truly devastated Diana. So that's really sad. Very, very
sad. Yeah.
And so
I
now,
didn't know all this was happening. I hadn't heard. I hadn't really been paying attention to news lately.
They even went in M16 when King Charles was in the hospital. Queen consort Camilla decides to go to the south of England to go on a yacht with her ex-husband Parker Bowles.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Everybody, I'm not kidding. You need to go on YouTube and watch the Monarch BBC channel. Like, it's coming from their channel.
Yeah. That's crazy stuff. Wow.
Princess Anne, now this gets better. Now Princess Anne has stepped in to start reading aloud the last words of Queen Elizabeth and what she wants. And Charles, as everybody knows, he's always wanted the monarch to advance or to move forward. It has caused such a kerfuffle within the aristocrats of Europe and the monarchs of Europe. Now they need to decide if they want the British monarch to stay within. What does this sound like?
I don't know. It sounds like a soap opera. It sounds like a big mess.
It sounds like the Democrats and the Republicans in the United States. It really
does. Unfortunate. Yes.
It is unfortunate. But and then the scandal in Australia, right? With that prime minister. And now here you go. You're like, okay, somebody got the message. You know, it is time to open up, and it is time to start calling a spade, folks, and let the cards just lay where they are. Right? Mm-hmm. It's over. And the stress, the anxieties, their health, I can't even imagine keeping some. The secrets are they're looking at DNAs of a lot of these kids in line of succession. It shows, like, you can't believe some of the things that are out there, and you almost want to question, you know, the authenticity or what is going on behind those walls. And it is truly, you say a soap opera, but it is like a novena.
Right? A novella.
A novella, that's it. A novella. It truly is like, I can't believe what I'm listening to. I can't believe what I'm watching. It's dumbfounding. And then you look at any part of the news, and it's always the division of the United States with these, and it's not even the people. If you look at the polls, well, it depends on what things you look at. But if you actually look at nonpartisan polls, they're still in favor of what Trump's doing. The only people who are bitching are the upper nonchalant. Now, why do you think that is?
Because it affects their bottom line.
Yes. So look at USAID, it's gone. It's over. So a lot of these things, they don't even have the money for because they cut them out, and they're cutting into their pockets. Mm-hmm. And now it's funny because Tulsi, who was Democrat, RFK, who was Democrat, Trump was liberal. He was neither Democrat or Republican. But when he saw what the Democrat Party was doing, he went, you know, because he gave them all money to better the country. So I know people have a lot of resentment. And of course, his attitude stinks. I'll be the first one to point out. He has quite the ego. But
he does.
I didn't ask him to rule with his ego. I asked him to rule as business deals. And he does make great deals, and people panic and want to go beyond. But he's transparent. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Look how transparent he's become. You know, you couldn't even ask questions in the last one. You couldn't ask any part of that. So the monarchs are following in the same pursuit. So is Australia, but they all are still condemning the United States. But these are all they're. It's like a mirror, Terri. It's like a mirror. You have to open up and follow this British monarchs. It is almost embarrassing. They're queening Kate without William right now. It's like it is
Okay, that's a problem, I think.
Yeah, because they stripped Camilla, so they can't have like they have to have, and it's just like, wow. And it's happening very, very quickly, and it's very sad because
It's very sad.
Prince Charles is the cancer is just lethal. So
We need to take a quick break if you want to take a break now, and then we can come back and we can finish that conversation. So let's go and hear Die Tired's new song. It's called So Called Complex, and it rocks. So let's hear it.
All right.
Here we go.
the station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
That duck is still there, man.
He's still there.
I'm telling you, I'm PTSD on that duck. I'm slapping, calling me a quack. He goes, he's not saying that. I understand, Joel, but I think he's saying it. So it's my complex. I'm allowed. Just give me a quack.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I just kind of think it's funny how, not funny, haha, just kind of,
Interesting, right? Funny, yeah.
Interesting how they are parallel. They may be going through their own thing and people don't realize, but this is the same energy. It's the same vibration of energy of being sided or being untrustworthy or lied to or cheated upon. It's that same energy that's now having to face those skeletons.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that because we all have skeletons. We all do. And yeah. And so for me, it's like, wow, everybody, I think we should take a hint in the overall because it's Australia, England, United States, and of course, Ghana, and I can't remember, or Kenya and Africa. And it's like the continental shelf is just splitting every day. It's like something, it splits more and more and more. But it makes sense as our Earth has already rotated, what was it, 600 kilometers or something? I think, anyway, from the true north.
Right, from the axis.
Right.
Yeah, you were talking about that before, I think, on another show. You had mentioned something about that.
I find that is like, it's happening. This is not climate change. And some of these scientists who want to say it's us using fossil fuels and stuff, it's the same thing. I mean, they're finding, even in these cracks, they're finding different animals, like the archaeological digs, and they're finding these artifacts that were actually amphibians, aquatics, and they should never be in the land. I was like, well, that's what they said happened 10,000 years ago, right? Yeah. What was water was land, and what was land was water. So they say every 10,000 years it happens, and maybe we're just part of that cell.
Yeah. Part of the shift in the universe. There's
a lot of shifts going on. I said that full moon energy last Monday, it was going to kick up in the next 2 weeks. And I think it's called a flower moon because there's a lot of people getting married and need those flowers. Their day is here. Their day has come. And they should actually feel relieved that they don't have to hold it anymore. Yeah, you're going to get in trouble, but you should feel relieved. Find that positive interpretation going, it was killing me.
Right. Yeah. Now you can actually breathe.
Right. And not be suspicious of anybody, anything, any talk, they could probably rest assured that somebody, thank you for honoring or bringing it out to light. And who knows? So anyway, that's what I'm bringing to the table tonight, Terry.
Well, so what's happening exactly in Australia? Because I hadn't really been following the news. Honestly, I've just been kind of keeping my head.
So I don't have that all together, but there has been an upward, just like the divisions of our council here. There's been a division of over there of fraudulent and theft and people that they really believed in and trusted their word. And it's kind of like the same motion, but because Australia is British bound, right? Yes. They're going through, like, now the British Isles, the London, Scotland, and the aristocratic monarchs countries are all within now this chaos because now they want to decide if they want to kick out the Wales. It's like Hatfields and McCoys. And so somehow Australia is in that.
I see. That makes sense.
Right. How, I don't know, but they're part of the prodigies of the aristocrats. And so it is very divisional because the monies that the royals were getting are the taxpayers' money.
Yes. Yes, they
And
are.
it's kind of like here. Well, why our taxpayers' money? So do you understand that kind of like, why am I paying for somebody not to work to sit on their ass just because they were born? That's not right. That's entitlement. We're removing entitlement. And King Charles removed a lot of those titles, a lot of the monies. They have the title, but they're removing the monies because now the British colonies, the people who pay the taxes to Britain, are pissed. They're like, this is ridiculous, this upheaval and the lies and the charades and the shenanigans that happened. And now it's really up to Kate and William to actually bring that balance back in Princess Anne, because you can't trust Charles, you can't trust Camilla, you can't trust Harry, you can't, like, and he's already gone, you know.
Yeah.
And Prince Edward, Camilla kicked him out.
Yeah.
They're like, what? And then Prince Andrew, he's all caught up in the other
the scandal with Diddy and the whole thing. Yeah, he's part of the whole stuff.
Yeah, he's not with the Diddy thing that I know of, but I
Well,
know
he is, because he attended a party and then he was with Weinstein too, is what I heard. But now that's all rumor mill. That's all subjective.
And that's Diddy, not Epstein. I thought it was Epstein's island he kept going to.
Well, that, and then he was, well, I know they said that Harry was at Diddy's party, and I thought that Andrew was part of that too, but they said that he was at a Diddy party.
Ugh.
So I don't know. I mean, that may have been fully innocent. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but
well, I know that Prince Andrew, he got everything removed from him, and now his daughter, Duchess Sarah, she is, she told the children it's up to them, but Camilla tried to remove their entitlement to, because he lost his, so Camilla tried to take it off of them and give it to her own daughters.
Of course, yes.
And then she tried to give the crowns of Diana to her own granddaughter, who was not even, I mean, I'm telling you, everybody right now, I know there's so much focus on the United States and what is going on in the judges' chambers, and the corruption is being unfolded left, right, and center. And I mean, there's just so much. It's like, I'm tired. I'm going to take their name and go, I'm going to die tired trying to figure out where this energy is and where I have to pull off from. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that is really crazy. I mean, that just goes to show that people really want that, that presence. They want to be known. They want to be revered or whatever. Or they just want their name out there and they want to be part of that whole thing. And they're going to choose any which way they can to make sure it happens, whether it's right or wrong. And that's unfortunate, because it's really about their ego. Like you said, it's their ego trying to get out and trying to be out in front of everybody and get whatever they can get for, themselves.
I'm right there with you, Terry. And I sit back and I'm like, it's all going to divinely play out the way it's supposed to. But
it sounds like it is, actually. So
what a shakeup. What a shakeup. Yeah. So if you're out there mingling and talking, you might not want to bring up any of that. I am sure there's both side stories, just like there's both side stories here, right across the pond.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
There's going to be a he said, she said, a lot's going on. But I'm telling you, when Miss Camilla decided to go on the boat while her husband was locked up in cancer in the hospital with her ex-husband, William sent M16 in. And I love that. And they went into her house and uncovered so much stuff. And that's how we found out about the car that Diana was in, the other car of her daughter's husband, I believe it was, or her, I don't know, some other relation. Same car, same kind of accident. They found all these things. They even had court with her, and the court ordered her to give back all the stuff.
Wow.
I know. It's like gasping.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
How much scandal could be in one family? But then you look at your family and go, oh, we got a lot of crap.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot here to work with, for sure.
Right. Why am I even bothering with that? And I guess I'm bothering because it was so funny because about a year ago, I got very like intrigued about Miss Kate. And I even told my husband, he goes, "You sure like watching this?" I go, "I am very intrigued with her. I don't know why." I said, "But there is something about her that I am fixated to constantly always want to know." And I have yet to find reason for me why I want to know it. And that's weird because normally I'm a why girl. And I'm why and why and why. Here I am whying with her. Why am I so fixated on Princess Kate? Why am I so, in awe of her presence?
Because she's more like Diana. And Diana was the people's princess. And so I think Kate follows a lot of what Diana stood for. And, she's not out for herself and she's not out to make a name. She's just out to serve her in her role and in her capacity, whatever she can do to bring awareness to her causes and that type of thing. That's really what she's after and not the notoriety for herself. It doesn't seem.
When you were saying that, sometimes titles give entitlement that they don't deserve.
Right. I agree with that.
And when you look at the Middletons, they are your typical middle class, just trying to make a living, and nailed their party supply thing because one was a flight attendant. I think the mom was a flight attendant, and the other one was flight ground control or something that he did. So they're both kind of airport workers, but then they both did this party entertainment thing, and it blossomed to be, bajillionaires or whatever. And that's, you have to honor people like that.
Yeah.
They put the time, they put the effort, they put their money, they raised their kids humbly with morals, with God presence. And, they are beautiful, beautiful people. They are nicer than 98% of the damn monarch.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And then blessed King Charles gave them the royal title of Duchess of Berkshire. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
So the Middletons, Kate's parents, it's unheard of. Nowhere in the monarchy, if you're not a bloodline or an aristocrat family, and they weren't.
Yeah,
but
they're
King
not.
Charles dubbed them and gave them HRH titles.
Well, that's cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I said, when you have so much faith, there is such goodness. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So I swear I have to be balanced and say, well, in order for that to happen, what amount of dishonor, disrespect, untrust, and unworthiness is happening behind those walls?
Yeah.
For a commoner to outshine every single one of you of scandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they couldn't do anything because the Middletons had no scandals. There has not been any scandals with the Middletons. And that's what pissed off Camilla, because Camilla was trying to get her sister titles. And then they said, no, absolutely not.
Right.
And she's from an aristocratic family.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Because King Charles has known her a long, long time and knew her before Diana and had dated her before Diana, but he never really wanted to pursue it any further, I don't think. And then he married Diana and then still talked to her. And then that progressed into whatever it did. And
well,
she's
that was
still
forced.
hanging around.
Yeah, Terri, you got to go see it. It was forced. Like now it's all coming out that all of the stuff that was going on with Diana in the news was all for her to have a nervous breakdown, a mental nervous breakdown, because they were throwing it all out in the news. Diana was getting blamed for it, but now they're finding out that's not true. Diana really wasn't talking. Diana wrote letters, and they started in the auction house. Camilla decided that all of Diana's letters needed to go. Well, she didn't read them.
Oh, jeez. That was the first mistake. Read what you're selling. You never know what's included.
Well, I mean, the scandalous stuff that they are pinning on Camilla or Cruella, whatever her name is, like it is cruel. It is just humanely, like, that's some dark stuff, to the point that if they can't recapture one of them, I only found it on one station, but one station said that if she can't recover the stuff that she sold from the Monarch's vaults, she's going to have to pay it back. And then her son wrote a book against her.
Seriously.
Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
Her own son.
She must not have been too nice to him, apparently.
Well, so her sister then decided that she was going, on that occasion, her sister then was going to come back and tell the story of how everything went down, because it was getting to a point where she didn't want to go to jail for her sister. So the sister who she tried to bring into the Monarch, she's ending up now pointing a finger, screaming at Camilla, going, I'm not going down with you. You're the one who did.
Oh, man. Well, we need to take another quick break if you want to take one real quick.
Okay.
All right. And so we can play Jess Muse Lavender Skies. She's right now, Jess is in OCS for the Coast Guard. So she's going through the throes of becoming an officer in the Coast Guard. So I'm wishing her all the best and all the luck.
Beautiful to her. Beautiful, Jess.
You're just as scared as I am of this, but we both know love is always a risk. And when the storm clouds come, most will run away. But between you and I, all I have to say is, baby, we belong together, you and I. Even through the worst weather, the sun will always rise. And through the darkest nights, we will be just fine. And we'll be left with lavender sky, lavender skies. We've both been hurt like hell before, but we both know sometimes love is a war. And when the storm clouds come, most won't stand in the rain and dance. But between you and I, we should take a chance. 'Cause baby, we belong together, you and I. Even through the worst
The station where
That Doug doesn't want to say quack today. That's what's happening right here.
I got him.
You scared him. You said, not today, Doc, not today.
I'm not punching in your head today, man.
So I
You're
put
the quack. You're the quack.
Song, so we didn't get to hear what you were going to say about sorry about that. It clicked before I heard you talking, and then it clicked, and I was like, oh, I just cut her off. So
that
sorry.
happened to me today. No, it happened to me today. It's like, okay, maybe I'm very winded. Who knows? I don't know. Who cares? But she's a beautiful, beautiful. Besides being a great singer, she's a beautiful lady, and I wish her the best in those forces.
Yeah, she taught herself to play guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, and she writes all of her own music. Everything's original. She writes it and she records it. And she just got signed to a record label not long ago. And right as she was going to basic training for Coast Guard for OCS.
That is beautiful. Well, I wish her so many beautiful endeavors. I hear there is a quack in the back studio.
H is in the building now.
He's gonna look for it.
Oh, come on. He ain't that great.
There he is.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better than I was yesterday when I was talking to you guys yesterday. I couldn't even understand me. Right?
How's those tonsils today, buddy?
Oh, I can swallow them. I don't think that's normal, though.
Listen to the crowd, man. Well, we're glad to know that, man, especially with those beautiful long blonde braids.
I'm telling you.
Are you on trial today? On the DD or what?
No.
Because that's what they were talking about today.
Well, I hear people talking about that we got the wrong person, that P. Diddy is cloned, and we got the clone, and the real PD is out there. I mean, have we got that bored of society that we have really we started doing conspiracy theories on people cloned and stuff? I find that hilarious.
Well, there's a lot of talk about that. If you look it up, there's a lot of talk about that people have been cloned and that you're seeing a mask and you're not really seeing the person. Like it's like that wacky science. You're like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
I'm feeling there's a lot of AI involved there.
Yes, I think
so. You can't. You don't know if something's real or if it's AI anymore.
I mean, look at Jules' hair. I just can't believe how long it grew.
Overnight, in fact.
I know.
Max Headroom.
I love it. Yes, I remember him very well.
So that was the other topic. Sir Diddy, things are going downtown with Sir Diddy. 190. Did you see? I think it was 190 people on that list.
Well, did you see that they were talking about the reason that he's not dressing up for court and things like that is because they were wanting to show him less powerful than when he was wearing all his his dyed hair and his fancy suits and all this stuff and his cool glasses. They wanted to downplay it, like he's really humble, like he's not, like he's he's sorry for what's going on and like he's not in charge. He doesn't have power anymore. So that's what they're trying to show now with him just being either in the jumpsuit or whatever it is he's wearing and then not dyeing his hair and just, kind of looking a little scruffy. It's to show him less powerful so that Cassie's testimony won't be so damning to him.
Yeah, you can't, it's funny because I don't know as anybody who is an abused person who can make that stuff up.
Right.
And then there's videos, and there's people who were always near, especially in the freak offs or whatever they're calling. I mean, it is truly sick. It's sickening. It's blinding and sickening at the same time.
Right.
It really is.
I agree.
The abuse, and and I think there's a lot more. I think what's going to happen with this is all the people who are coming, like 50 Cent just raked him over the coals.
He always has. He's always not been a Diddy fan. Always.
But then when you get the daughter and the son of Diddy raking him over the coals, you have to go,
Yeah.
now what's this about? You're not even going to back up your father. Huh.
Yeah.
And then how can a child not do it? And then to find out the truth about Aaron Carter. I never knew that. I always wondered what happened to him. Had no clue that was what happened to him. I had no clue about Usher.
Oh, right. Yeah. And that's really sad. And Bieber, same way.
Yeah. I mean, his mother just dropped him off. Why would you do that? And she, I didn't know him, but this is what he wanted. And according to Usher, it wasn't what he wanted. And I don't know. It is a wow moment. And I think all the transparency, is just wowing the nation to
what's really been going on that we've all turned a blind eye to.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really, is there a blame? Is the blame game on the media who silenced it? And then you have to look at all those people, including Oprah and J-Lo and Rihanna, and you go, you knew, but you knew this, but yet you never reported it.
Well, Rihanna's a victim too. Rihanna was taken at 14.
Mm-hmm.
She was put on a plane.
Never mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, she was put on a plane. So she was locked in a hotel room overnight at 14 with Diddy. And then he, whatever transpired. And then she was promised a contract, and then she came over to the States, but her dad just let her go. Like what dad lets a 14-year-old just get on a plane with some strange man that's 3 times her age? I don't think so.
Well, like Usher said, my mom, all she cared about was the money at the time, because Diddy was paying her money for grooming him. I go, wouldn't that be the other way around? Shouldn't you be paying money for somebody to be groomed? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy is what it is. It's just the whole situation is very sad for those that were so negatively impacted by all this, and their childhood was basically robbed from them because of what they experienced with this whole situation.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
Yeah. It really is sad. So then leads us back into New York for another headline. Miss Letitia James, Judge Letitia James, or whatever, Attorney General. So this judge was responsible. This is funny flip here. So it was first responsible that I'm so sorry. Okay, folks, I need a moment. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I just got a news flash. Terry, did you see it?
I didn't.
Please look at it. I want everybody at home right now to just pause and just being quiet. And I really, really need everybody to send healing energy to our beautiful Amber, who was in an accident, and we need her to be fine. We need her to be okay. We need to raise the vibration to bring her in. So please, everybody at home, good prayers, good thoughts, good wishes.
Yeah.
And send that energy so she feels it to heal quicker.
Right. Oh my goodness. That's awful.
Yeah. That is breathtaking. And you never, there you go. You never know what tomorrow brings. So for all the transparency we've been talking about, for all the rubbish that we've been talking about, the human life, there's a value to it.
Yes, absolutely.
You honor, you affirm, you love without conditions.
Right.
And you honor everybody who is in your circle, because you are never guaranteed anything. And that is extremely sad.
Oh
So
my goodness, it
pray
is.
for her, people, please. She
Yes,
is
yes.
the podcast In the Weeds.
Into the weeds, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, what did I say?
No, you said it.
Okay, Into the Weeds.
Yeah.
Her husband, Charles, her daughter, Alora. Our prayers go out to each and every one of you. I know this is really difficult to watch somebody get in an accident. So we are here for you, all of us. I know your NBR family, once they find out, they will all be reaching out. So.
I sent the picture to you guys as like personal, just to let you know she's okay. But she's definitely in the hospital. Charles is definitely in the doghouse for a while, and she's in extreme pain because she basically landed on the same position that she landed when she was in the military, that caused her to get out.
Oh no. Oh wow. Well, that's very. Thanks for letting us know. That's
I didn't mean to break up you guys' Black Panther party. Sorry again. I have a tendency to just do that. I'm sorry about that.
HR nightmare. It just says it all.
Well, at least you brought it to our attention, so we could put it out there, so people could, say a prayer for her and really lift her up
most
right
definitely.
now when she needs it. Yeah,
most
so that's
definitely.
perfect. Thank you for doing that.
Most definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Say a prayer for her. Keep her in. If you do rosaries, keep her in that circle. If you have a church who honors and put her in that circle, there's a lot of circles of power of prayer that you can put people in. So,
and I tell you, I enjoyed you guys' show yesterday so much, or no, Saturday. I enjoyed you guys so much Saturday that you guys made me tear up a little bit. And do you realize after Saturday we have 7 scheduled appointments tomorrow for people to learn how to podcast? And I really think it's because you guys did that thing Saturday, because it's one thing for me to tell people, but if other people keep telling people, hey, look, I'm doing this and it's making me feel good, it's getting me talking, it's getting me gathering out with a group of people or a tribe of people that can build me up and not tear me down. Because let's face it, you go outside the society today, it's very easy to find somebody that's just going to tear you down. You have a little cheeseburger with them, and the next thing you know, whoa, hold up. This is not going the right direction that I wanted to go. But you can come here, and not only you can do a show, but you have people that care about you.
Right. Yeah, you do. Definitely.
So everybody that's not a part of NBR, I kind of feel bad for them.
But not everybody could come in. We don't have enough space, Joel. So you can't.
That's true.
So flip it.
That's true.
Can't
sit here.
There's no vacancy. I tell you. So I was saying, and I know you weren't here previously because you're eating your Ruffles dinners over there. So no, you can see them through the camera. Every now and again, you see your back. You're telling on yourself, boy.
Damn screen, center and hide it all.
Technology, man. You can never trust it. So, I lost my train of thought. Terri, what did you bring today?
Well, really, it's kind of to do with what we were talking about, and it's AI, just how it's impacting and influencing everything we do and everything we see, and just kind of we had a gradual progression of AI into our culture, and it's progressed into something totally unexpected, I think, by most people. So, it started with automatic garage door openers. I mean, that's just one example. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of others, but then the cell phone that came into a little computer that you took with you. And then, it just kept progressing and progressing until finally, we have voiceovers that we can make to sound like anybody. So you can mimic anybody's voice you want to. And then you can have virtual assistants that you can, have them relate to you as you want to be related to. And there's just so much AI in the culture, and like the algorithms all factor into what we like to see. So it doesn't let us see things we don't like click on and like and heart and all that. It just shows us what it thinks we want to see. And then with Amazon, if you buy something or you search something, then it keeps saying, hey, you'd like to see this again, wouldn't you? And it brings it back up, and it just keeps, AI is influencing all components of our life. And some of it I think is good. And I think, it's helpful. And then others is like, it's too invasive. And it's like, calm it down. You're out of 10. I'm going to need you out of 5. Stop it.
Yeah. And you don't even know what's true anymore.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And, there was I should have copied it and I didn't, but somebody made a reference with AI. And they said, AI has been here for thousands of years. I go, what? And I said, are we talking about the same AI? And they said, when you conceal, if you put a mask on, you're AI. When you put makeup on, you're AI. When you dye your hair, you're AI. So imagine how far AI has come since the Indians painted their face or put on a mask. And I was like, oh my God, I never looked at the evolution of AI.
Right. Yeah. I mean, truly, it goes back a long ways, and there's all kinds of different progression in that, from having the sensors, turn on and off your lights, to building in, radiant heat, or to the automatic sensors when you walk through the door, everything turns on and shows up. I mean, it's just really progressed into some things that are very helpful. But then on the other turn, I think there's, some reasons to take a pause and to be concerned, because it's infiltrated a lot of different things that maybe it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It can be very crippling, right? It's to think how it can be used in a negative manner, and you just would pray and have faith that the consciousness of man will keep it in a very positive aspect, which, as we can see on social media with the memes, they're not. They're having a lot of fun with the sarcasms and the mimicries, and and I wonder if people realize, do you realize who you're hurting by doing that? Do you realize how that other person might feel? Right. And I don't think they take that into consideration.
Well, I said this the other day, and I had a lot of people that disagree with me, and yeah, that's okay. They're going to disagree with me, but I think the older you get, the more you lose empathy. I really do.
I believe that. I believe that because I believe they're at a place in their life where they're tired of holding it in. Mm-hmm. They're tired of, trying to beat around the bush or keeping balance, and they're like, I'm just done. I think it's like 70 and older, because I watched my family 70 and older. They just say things, and you're like,
yeah, you're like, oh man, did that just come out of her mouth or his mouth?
I've never heard you say that. Are you kidding me? I'll never forget the first time I heard my mother say the word fuck. I was like, what? Like, what? You rattle beater? You rosary girl? I've never. And she goes, what? I can't say it. I think, you're 40. I could say it. I'm like, you do it. You go. It was one of those types of things.
Right.
So I believe that. I believe that they're, they are at a point where I think they're just fed up. I said the transparency in the beginning of the show, all of this, it connects all the way around the world. How open transparency is becoming the new form. There's not going to be anything hidden, because they're seeing the devastation. So now it's all the lockers are coming up with skeletons, and it's a little frightening. You're
Well, I
like,
mean, you're right. You're right. You see that right now in China. You know, we have these the big tariff wars, and what does China do? China shows the American people, hey, you know that Swifties mop that you pay that you pay like $40 for? Yeah, you can get it here for $2. U.S. are the ones that up the price, you know, and I mean, just it's not just that. It's like it's a bunch of other stuff too, like shaving cream and all these different things.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. But the thing is like we should have already known that as society. You know, we should have already known that. This shouldn't be a surprise.
Have you seen Amazon in that relation where they told you this is the price, but this is your tariffs with Trump price?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about on Amazon?
No, that's not Amazon. That's actually Walmart. They just came out with that yesterday, talking about
Walmart.
Walmart just this last year, after they paid all their employees everything, they still profited $1.96 billion. Not million, not thousand, but billion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's after everything.
These are the people, the capitalists are always the people who are controlling your nation. So Walmart and Amazon are controlling all your mom and pop little venues. And it's really sad. And why? Because you go, you know, I'm going to do mom and pop. And that's me. I'll say I'm going to do mom and pop, but now I'm up in the mountain. I don't have any mom and pops to pick from.
Yeah.
And so the height of my laziness, I'll admit it, instead of driving, you know, an hour into Ithaca or Elmira, New York, I'm just going to order it off of Amazon. And
you know, I don't think it's laziness. I think it's kind of like forgetfulness. And this is
it's convenience.
Yeah, it's convenience. And this is the reason why I asked. So I know people don't think about it, but, you know, we have 30-some hosts on the station, right? And out of those 30-some hosts, 30 of them have birthdays, right? And every single time I go and see them, you know, having a birthday, they're always grabbing a nonprofit to sponsor, and it's not NBR, it's somebody else. It's either VetTix or something like that. And you know, I used to get upset with that, but sometimes, just sometimes, we don't think about stuff like that. You know, we don't think about like if we, oh, you know, I like this person, so I'm going to buy a hat. Well, you have a person that has a business just like that is on your friends list that you haven't talked to them for 8 months. It's not like you meant to. You didn't know, or you didn't put two and two together, or you know, you didn't pop in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to take a quick break, and then we can come back. And I think we don't have anybody after us, do we, H? No? Okay.
No, because that one group, I don't know if he's going to be doing lives anymore. I have no idea. I'm still waiting from him.
All right, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll play Blue Mountain Tribe, Love and Understanding.
It ain't fair
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
Here we are.
We be back.
We do need more love and understanding. Blue Mountain Tribe is right on target. Like if more people followed their advice, I think we'd be in a much different place right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
They've got new music coming out in probably in the next 2 or 3 months. They're looking for a producer, and then they'll be out with some new music. So I'm excited for that.
Give them Joel's name.
Hey, talking about new music, ladies and gentlemen, Die Tire Complex. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard it, do it. Those lyrics are getting deeper and deeper.
They are, yeah. We just played it at the start of the show.
Good way to go.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love them.
Yeah, me too. Awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy. That whole group's a good group.
Yes.
They're good fellers. Good fellers. So AI, as we all know, can be, on the positive note, one of the most brilliant things that are happening right now to help us in a positive fashion at the robots, right? Or the I know that they're doing a lot for people to help them do a quick text box. So now you'll see on your phone AI popping up with automatic responses, so you don't have to type it all out. Right?
True, that's very true.
Right, and look at Joel's Batcave with his GPT thing. So now you actually sound very professional, especially me. I get to sound very professional with what I'm all about. So, yeah.
Well, sometimes even when it tells you how to be professional, sometimes it also kind of teaches you, hey, even though it's not the response that you want, cool your jets. That doesn't mean that they're not going to help you in the future. It's all how you treat them, Right. That's how life is. How do you treat people in the worst times? How is your character? That determines, who wants to be around you, who wants to walk alongside of you. If you're constantly just thinking of yourself and you're not constantly thinking of other people or like their point of view, people don't want to be around that. They want somebody that's going to take care of them because they're taking care of them. Everybody gives Trump all the shit about the reciprocal. Hell, we need to do that here in the United States. Reciprocal. Amber, we heard about your little mishaps. We're praying for you.
Absolutely, Amber, we are. Thanks for joining. I'm hopeful that you'll be out of that hospital bed real quickly and be back to your podcast, because we're going to be missing you if you're not. So we need you to hurry back.
Yeah. Motorcycles. Who would have thought?
Right. Exactly.
So,
that's why I drive a trike.
A trike.
Yeah, at least you can't dump over on it. At least it's harder to dump over on a trike versus a two-wheeled motorcycle for sure.
And if you have a trike, if you go to a stop sign, like a four-way stop, it doesn't matter if you're like the last person there. Everybody always waits until you drive by. I don't know if it's because they're being kind of, I don't know, nosy, like, oh, let me see this guy gonna go. Or, if they're just like, okay,
They want to see the paint job on your trike because it's pretty darn cool. That's
maybe
all
that's it. Maybe that's it.
It's
Do you
pretty.
have a flag on the back?
Do I have a what?
Like the flag sticking up, so when you're riding it, it's.
I used to.
Uh-huh.
I used to.
You're so cool, H. You're so cool. I can see him on his, get his little flags like this, and he's going down the parade. Look at me! Look at me!
What are you doing?
Welcome, Quack. Welcome. So, how's our new ducks coming along?
Yeah, how's the animation?
I think they're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
they're doing pretty good because I handed out to a professional that's going to be making it a real good cartoon. Our first cartoon will be out in January, and this cartoon is going to be showing people how to get their benefits. Kind of sharing them. Hey, there's a difference between healthcare benefits, and there's a difference between financial benefits. You have to go after them kind of separate,
right.
Office is benefits, and then you go to the VA and stuff like that. That's for health benefits. So I was supposed to take a soldier today over there, but things just got so busy. So hopefully I'll be able to take him over there Wednesday, because the show that you guys did Saturday, you guys motivated 7 scheduled podcasters. So we'll be working with those people tomorrow.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm just making sure I just get myself ready. Are you going to form all of your DJs into these duck characters?
Eventually, yes. Eventually, yes.
Can I say peace instead of quack?
Peace. Like that. Like that. Peace. Peace.
Right.
I don't think you can make this sound peaceful. Peace. Yeah.
I am your father. I'm just thinking, I'm like, he's so duck happy. I said, we better watch out. All of us are going to have like this new duck character.
Right.
Hey, check this out. Also, I want to, we're going to have her on the show soon, but I talked to CG today, and CG was telling me about this friend of hers. She's creating hats. She's going to create a cowboy hat, a military broadcast radio cowboy hat style, and they're going to start selling it on the website, and a percentage of it will be sent to MBR. But it's basically a cowboy hat. Here, I'll while I'm talking about it, let me go over here and share it. We shared it on the MBR. Yeah, we shared it on the MBR page. But it's very creative. It reminds me kind of like Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, his cowboy hat. Let me bring it up here real quick. There we go. This right here. So she makes these cowboy hats, and then she puts, like your awards or medals or anything that you want. They're custom. So they can do anything. They can do the Beyond the Headlines cowboy hat. They can do almost everything. They're going to craft a hat. And that the website is Hats Are Back. In fact, it's hatsareback.org. This is the website that you can go and you can check out her gear. From what CG says, she's a very, very nice lady, very cute lady. She's retired, and this is what she does on her off time, and she loves making these hats.
Super cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Hats are back. Oh, I screwed the pooch. Look what I put. So if you see hats are back, not ARE. See? Where is AI?
When you need it.
Right. Or should I say stupid AI? Let me fix that for you.
I just say stupid phone is what I say all the time. Stupid phone.
Oh, hey, how about spell check? You know, I mean that doesn't help me. I was telling Tracy the other day that I was telling my wife I was on the way home, and I text her on my way home, and instead of putting a home instead of ho, so it says on my way ho. You know, try to explain that.
And she's like, well, I know where you'll be tonight.
Right. Same place Charles is.
Don't you worry. There's a beautiful house right outside for you. You can even chain yourself up if you want. Make you feel authentic. Dog face.
Jeepers.
Yes, so we have that happening with MBR with the coloring books. So
Yeah, coloring books too. We didn't even really talk about the coloring books. So there are coloring books that you could buy that have the ducks included in them. They're pretty awesome.
And remember, coloring is meditative.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. And if you go from the inside out, then you ask for a question. So by the time you color all the way to the outsides of the page, your answers will be. Now, if you have a problem, you don't know how to fix it, the problems you have to go deep in. So then you color from the outside and go in. By the time you finish on the inside, you'll have your answers. You heard it here.
I've never heard that. That's cool. I'll remember that.
That is a Buddhist tradition for mandala work. So when you color mandalas in that culture, the theory is that you start from you manifest by putting it into the atmosphere, the center core, and then you color all the way to the outside. By the time it has the outside, you're manifesting what it is that you need. So negatives are going this way, positives are coming in, right? So we have to push it out, bring it in. So remember that.
Yeah, I will.
When you go coloring.
That's right.
Yeah. So next question is, who's our newest DJs coming on?
So from what I gather on today, I think he started his first day today. I'm not for sure. I'd have to check the play. But we have a new DJ on the music side. His name is DJ Trinity. So he's a mix masher, just like DJ Blade is. So you want to make sure to check out that side. Also, before we came on, there's a brand new show. He's only been on about a couple of episodes, but, check into them. It's called Check a Vet. And he has a mental health, meditation moments, right before we come on. So that's really good stuff. And then we have another one coming up, don't we, Trace? Who am I forgetting? Well, we
have one on. We have one on Saturday that's supposed to come on. Sicko was supposed to come on.
Right.
Yeah,
and then I think this Wednesday is Marlin. She's one of the newest shows, the AI of life or living life, something like that. So
that's a new one that I haven't heard.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Nice. Yeah. There you go.
So we have about 8 or 9 shows coming up. Don't worry, everybody. Don't worry. Just keep watching. We'll make more.
Make more.
We'll make more.
You almost sound like my dad. Really? I'll take you out and I'll make another one just like you. Okay.
Hey, I learned that on golf. You hit a ball and you have no idea where it is. They just hit another one. Golf balls are like Doritos. We'll make more.
They'll scoop it out of the pond sooner or later.
Right.
Somebody's
going to collect money for them too.
That's right.
There's actually people that have like a scuba business that go in those ponds and they grab all those golf balls and they get like $30 for each bucket of balls that they bring up.
Yeah.
True enough. Balls.
I just wouldn't do it in Florida because there might be gators in there. No, thank you.
I know, right?
Yes. No, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So unless they're fed by human, natural instinct of a gator is to run from you. They hiss and they run from you. Now the Crocs, now that was another news breaking story. They now have an absurd amount of Crocs inside the coastlines there in South Florida. Now we've already known about the Crocs. Visitors don't really know about the Crocs, but we know that there's Crocs in the ocean more than there are sharks in the ocean in South Florida. But now the news break came out. I saw it yesterday, how they are showing the size of these Crocs. Now, when I was with the national park doing tour guiding, they had something that came out. They tested 26 Crocs around the coast of Florida. They captured, blood tested them. And out of 26 Crocs, 18 of them came as Nile Crocs. That's not good.
Wow. That is not good.
That's right. So there is a Croc that is reproducing Niles with the American crocodile. And South Florida is always known to have American crocodiles and American alligators. So, but I don't think people are aware of that in the tip of South Florida, when you go down into the Flamingo part of South Florida or into the Thousand Islands of South Florida, you will know that that is truly the only place where the crocodile and the alligator coexist. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know one thing. If you ever get attacked by a crocodile, all you have to do is just remember, poke him in the eye. That'll stop him.
Okay.
Same with sharks. Actually, you get bit by a shark if you punch them in the eye. Right. They go. Yeah. Same thing. Boop. Problem with Crocs and gators, they do death rolls. Sharks really don't do death rolls. They bite you and throw you up in the air. So you have a flying chance at least.
Hopefully you'll land on a nearby boat.
Yeah, they do the death rolls, right?
Maybe he's blind. Maybe you'll land on his eyes.
Just have to outrun the first 20 feet. If you can outrun the first 20 feet, you're good. Because they can't go very fast after 20 feet. But they're pretty damn quick in those 20 feet, so you better be a sprinter.
Yeah, they are quick.
Yeah. I would not being able to feel my toes. I'd be falling on my face. I'd be gator meat. That's right. That's why we wear a gun on our holster, right? In case we have to use it. Just saying. That's a bad subject, I guess. Mama needs a new pair of boots, baby. No, I'm only kidding. That's like right now we have a really bad bear issues up here in the mountain going on because all the baby bears are out. I guess they all come out of hibernation, but the bears in Pennsylvania really don't hibernate. I mean, if it really gets too cold, then they'll go in. But we've seen them pretty much except for 2 months already here. But they're getting brazen. Like they're getting into chicken coops. They're getting and ripping doors off up here. So when I hear somebody say that they're going to take action, my heart pounds because I'm bear. Like I'm bear spirit. So I'm like, no, you're not. They belong here. we don't belong here. But I have no problem taking out an alligator from my boots. Now, what is that? Am I biased? Am I prejudiced?
You might have a little bias, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But I will take out that female turkey. She has a beard. She has a 10-inch beard, that hen.
Wow.
I know. Maybe that's where they get the expression, the bearded lady. I don't know, but ask the where did that expression come from, Joel?
Okay.
Do we want to know?
The bearded lady. Where did that expression come from? Maybe next time I'll just ask Brock, because I can ask him now. The expression of the bearded lady originates from sideshow circus culture, especially in the 19th and 20th century. Bearded ladies were women who had naturally grown facial hair due to conditions like Husitism, polyctism, ovary syndrome, and they were often featured as attractions and freak shows of traveling circuses. The concepts become popular in the P.T. Barnum American Museum of the 1800s, where women like Annie Jones, one of the most famous bearded ladies, were exhibited. These individuals were exploited and celebrated depending on your perspective, offered public attention, but often objected for the differences. And I tell you, the best movie to watch about that, the story and everything, is The Greatest Showman.
I love that show. I love that show so much because it is the truth. It's ridicule. It goes back to ego and judgment, right? Equal. Because somebody is different. Where is the callousness? Who started that? Man, obviously, because God wouldn't. So there you go, back to man, right? Being callous, being rude, being, so then we have the tribe being, why can't we just have love and peace, right?
Right.
Where is it? So, all right, my friends, it is time for me to say I do. I do, and I really do. I think I have to take after my dog's footsteps. So we are, Joel, you are with the Revel on Friday, right? That's next time you're up.
No, there is no more. There is no more Revel Experience, but the AIDS Train show is coming back.
Oh,
yeah, we're excited.
Can I be your guest? I want to be your guest. Can I please be your guest? I want to be your guest. Can I be your guest?
So yeah. So I'm supposed to meet with Stokely this weekend or this week. There might be a chance that he might co-host with me. So we'll find out if that happens. We'll see.
Oh, very nice. And Terri, tomorrow night, right? 8 o'clock?
Yes, tomorrow night. Yep, 8 o'clock, 8 Eastern.
8 Eastern. And that's a packed house. I know, because I love to listen to Tony. I don't tell him, but I really like when he gets onto the college, because I do college and ice hockey. And he's really good for stats. He really
is.
And I really appreciate his show. So I try to get that one in.
An outstanding shout out to Kim Thompson, who is a part of ML Gratitude. We partner with her with a lot of stuff. She was recognized today as the hometown hero for the Denver area, and they gave her a car. So I told her congratulations.
Yes,
nice.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Love what they do.
The world. Yay. That is fantastic. Very good.
Really
very good.
That's very good news.
I'm going to be on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. I'm not going to be on Monday because I'm going to take a radio day because it is Memorial Day, and I would like to go and pay homage at the American Legion and to the cemeteries. So I'm going to do that on Monday.
I think everybody should do that, actually.
I think so too.
Kind of like in Texas when all the places closed down because the high school football game's going on Friday Night Lights. I think that should be how it is. I think all of us should just take the day off, and everybody has a battle buddy that they can visit at the cemetery. And I tell you what, I don't talk about this much, but I got 2 battle buddies that every time I go to every time I go to a holiday or whatever, I always go over there. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I'm so scared that when I die and I'm in a grave, that nobody will come and visit my cemetery. Not because they want being rude or whatever, but there's a lot of people that don't believe in that tradition going to a cemetery. There's a lot of people that don't like going to the cemetery. And I made jokes about it with my wife one time. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and be cremated, and you guys just flush me down the toilet. Then nobody can feel the obligation to come and visit me. I was joking about that, but I do. I kind of worry about that. I think everybody kind of worries about that. So I encourage everybody on Sunday, even if you don't know the soldier, take a flower and go there and say, I don't know you, but thank you for your service.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna I'm definitely getting cremated, but my original plan was to get my ashes thrown in the very first bear cave I ever found and went into up in the mountains here when I was a kid. But then they came up with these really cool burial pod trees that you put your ashes in with the tree, and the tree uses the nutrients of the ashes and it grows into a tree. So then I thought, how cool would that be? I could just litter my leaves all over and piss people off. I was like, that might make me just a little bit more wanting to do the tree thing. Hey, remember me? You will pay attention to me. One way or another, you're going to be raking my soul. Someone shoot me now. All right. So folks, thank you. You'll see all of us back on, and Joel, get better. Come on now.
I know. I'm trying.
You sound better than you did yesterday. So you're making progress. You're making progress, though.
Let them be part of your friendship. Don't extricate them. Then they'll be nicer for you. Okay. Treat them nice, Joel.
I learned that with ChatGPT.
But there you go. All right, my friends, have a great evening. This is Headline Beyond the Headlines here on mbradio.us. I am MJ Terry, and below is the man of the hour, H-Train himself. And we get to have fun and just talking about some things that affect us, but we can flip it to always make it positive. So enjoy, and we'll see you probably not next Monday because it is Memorial Day. Enjoy the day. Go visit the graves and honor those who all passed. And that will make us very happy. And it make you happy too. Gives from your soul. All right. See you soon. Ciao, bacalao.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.